Hey there and welcome to MMA Daily. Here's what we've got lined up for you today. Starting off, Joe Rogan, Israel Adesanya applaud one championship's striking arts. Moving on, Conor McGregor goes on wild rant about Ilia Topuria, tells Max Holloway to f*** up. Lastly, Jorge Masvidal targets March UFC return. Joe Rogan and Israel Adesanya voiced their admiration for one championship's efforts to shine the spotlight on Muay Thai and kickboxing. On a recent episode of Rogan's popular podcast, the two discussed one's bold move to expand its offerings beyond MMA. They highlighted its success in elevating striking-based martial arts to a global audience. I like how one has everything. They have grappling matches, they have kickboxing matches, they have Muay Thai matches, and they have MMA matches. I think that is the way to go. One championship made waves when it opened its doors to various stand-up disciplines in 2018. Now, 6 years later, one has cemented its status as the premier destination for elite strikers. Adesanya, a former UFC middleweight world champion and an accomplished kickboxer himself, expressed his hope that outfits in North America could emulate one's strategy. They just did one in Denver. The fights were crazy, a lot of knockdowns and a lot of action-packed stuff. If it were marketed the right way, with the UFC's marketing machine, easily it would be one of the biggest things. Rogan echoed these sentiments, emphasizing that the American audience would likely embrace the intensity and explosiveness of striking disciplines. Everybody loves KOs. Everybody loves stand-up fights. You're going to get real KOs because no one can grapple. Then you will attract the greatest strikers in the world like what one is doing. UFC superstar Conor McGregor isn't fond of featherweight title holder Ilia Topuria, going on an unhinged rant on Topuria's home soil. McGregor is in Marbella this weekend for bare-knuckle fighting championship's first ever event in Spain. The card is headlined by a vacant lightweight title matchup between Franco Tenaglia and Tony Soto. Topuria, one of Spain's biggest sports stars, has had some recent bad blood with McGregor from afar. The two have traded barbs on social media ever since Topuria repeatedly called him out for a fight. If McGregor and Topuria come face-to-face this weekend in Spain, it likely won't be, especially after McGregor's latest jabs. Him, this isn't his home country. This is my home country, baby. Marvilla, Spain, where is he at? This is not his home country. He knows where his home country is, and it's not España. So good luck, Max Holloway. Him up. Topuria will face Max Holloway in his first UFC featherweight title defense later this month in Abu Dhabi. UFC 308 comes just 8 months after Topuria finished Alexander Volkanovski for the belt at UFC 298. McGregor hasn't appeared in the UFC octagon since a doctor's stoppage loss to Dustin at UFC 264. He was supposed to headline UFC 303 against Michael Chandler before withdrawing due to a toe injury. Jorge Masvidal is looking to make his UFC comeback in the first quarter of 2025. Jorge Masvidal retired from MMA at UFC 287 in April 2023 after suffering his 4th consecutive loss to Gilbert Burns. He was granted permission while under contract with the UFC to box Nate Diaz in July, but lost the bout by majority decision. It didn't take long for Masvidal to get the itch to compete in MMA again, and hopes to return early next year. Next year in March, I'm there. If they go to Miami, I'm going to somebody up in Miami. Despite Masvidal's enthusiasm, UFC CEO Dana White said probably not. When recently asked about the possibility of having both Tyron Woodley and Masvidal back to the UFC. Masvidal, 39, capitalized on his time off since retiring from MMA to rest his body. He may have been prepping for a boxing match, but he wasn't putting his body through strenuous sparring sessions as well as grappling and jiu-jitsu. There's nothing more demanding in this world sport-wise than MMA, because when you add in the wrestling mixed with the knees to your nose, mixed with people trying to choke you out, and then the strength and conditioning we've got to do to keep it up to be able to stay healthy. In a way, time away from MMA is like getting healthy. Thanks for tuning in to MMA Daily. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time for more exciting updates and analysis. Take care.